Choose me when you decide. Gas up the jet, I'm ready to ride. I wanna take you there with me. I got you. We both deserve each other. Run away into the night. Don't want another day without you. Boy, won't you be my baby, 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 baby. Let the world know you're my baby, 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 baby. Come run away with me. Oh yeah. I wanna see your face when I open my eyes. Boy, I won't get tired of you, baby, 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 baby. I see you moving on the dance floor. I'ma pull up and show you I'm ready. If somebody try to take my place, I know that I got you, so I don't worry. Come on, don't waste your time. You know you wanna see things you never seen. I wanna take you there. Be my baby, 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 baby. Let the world know you're my baby, 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 baby. Come run away with me. I wanna see your face when I open my eyes. Boy, I won't get tired of you, baby, 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 baby. I'll give you what you've always been missing. Do anything, boy, for your attention. Love me, over and over again. Boy, make me feel like this will never end. Love me over and over again. Make me feel like this will never end. Love me over and over again. I wanna see you, baby, baby, baby. Let the world know you're my baby, 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 baby. Come run away with me. I wanna see your face when I open my eyes. But I won't get tired of you, baby, 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 baby.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Fall Championships. It is finally time to be back together at the start of this new school year. I am joined, as always, by my director of competition, Mr. Mike Johnson. Mike, how are you,
Hello.
buddy? It is good to see you as always.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. We got a bunch of great brackets to look at, and we have a couple big announcements that we're going to be making for some unexpected additions to the championships, as well as some perhaps hidden treasures that is on no one's radar. So I'm excited to get through all of it.
Yes, there is a massive announcement at the end of this stream that you will want to make sure that you stay tuned for. But you will also notice a special guest, Mike. We have Michelle interpreting for us for this segment of our show. You may also notice a bit of a family resemblance. Michelle is actually my sister. and I asked her if she could help us out to make one of our first exciting announcements. And that is at our fall championships, we will be hosting the Eastern Schools for the Deaf Athletic Association's first ever championship. And so, coaches probably have seen, maybe not so much the players if they did not play against some of our schools in the ESDAA. Um, but we are lucky enough to be able to have the ESDAA schools playing with us this season as we help them start their esports initiative. And this has really been a passion project for us for a long time because you may remember if you've never heard the story, um, we used to be a national league back in the day when no one was really doing esports. And one of the first schools that joined us was Western's Penn School for the Deaf and the Scranton School for the Deaf, who are sister schools. And you may have also had the pleasure of meeting Doug, who is the Dean of Students over there, but also does production for us. And you see him and some of his students, along with some hearing students from around the state, working production. But as we got to know Doug and we got to know his community, we've always dreamed about finding a way to add them to the league. And finally, over this last spring, we were able to do that. And so, for the first time ever, coming off the heels of the national Deaf Scholastic Esports Championship we held in Pittsburgh, we will be doing the ESDAA Championships as part of our event. And so, one of the first things we want to do is announce what schools from the ESDAA will be competing with us this fall. So, here's the reveal. So, Mike, walk us through who is playing some 2v2 Rocket League.
Sure. We have our top overall seed is the Rochester School for the Deaf, and they will be playing our number 4 overall seed, the American School for the Deaf. Our number 2 seed is our friends at the Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf, and they are playing their frenemies, the Scranton School, in that first round. So a little bit of a friendly rivalry there between two Pennsylvanian schools to see who can make it to the final. I'm excited to see all of these schools compete live because they've been competing remotely this whole time. In person esports is still a little new to the ESDAA, so I'm excited to see the effect that it has on those players and those teams because the real grit comes out when you're playing in person.
Absolutely. And so, as always, Mike and I like to announce who we think is going to win. So, as we jump to our selections, I'm going to go ahead and take Western Penn School for the Deaf to bring home the first ever ESDAA championship in Rocket League. And that has a lot to do with the fact that they've played with us for a long time. Um, Esports is new for a lot of these programs, but definitely not for WPSD. And they had a great season where they were able to pull off a lot of wins. But Mike, looks like you're taking Rochester.
Yeah, seeing Rochester in Pittsburgh at their national championships was eye opening. They weren't really on my radar, but they're a great group of kids that really know how to play. And we didn't have enough ESDAA schools to make their own conference, so they wound up playing some New Jersey schools. And Rochester was able to stand toe to toe with some of the schools that were in that grouping that they played over the regular season. So, but I'm honor bound to choose WPSD as well to keep an eye on in this tournament. I think either one of these two teams out of our top two seeds can take home a belt.
Nice. And I think if it's not WPSD, I think Rochester's going to bring home the belt for Rocket League because they both teams had a great season. And so the other game that they will be playing with us is Smash Bros. And let's take a look at our Smash Bros bracket. We see Rochester here is the number 1 team, WPSD is the number 2, We got Scranton at the 4, who will be going against Rochester. And then we have American School for the Deaf, who will be competing against WPSD in that 2 versus 3 matchup. And so we take a look, Mike. What are we thinking about who's going to win?
Uh, Mostly so they don't get mad at me. I picked WPSD to win. I have to pick WPSD to win at least one title per season. It's actually in my contract. But I'm keeping an eye on the Scranton school as well, just because I know that they really do grind out the game there on that Scranton campus. So I'm interested to see what they can do in person.
Yeah, and I think I'm going the other direction with my pick. I think Rochester's going to bring home the belt for Smash Bros. And if it's not Rochester, I would love to see American make some noise. New program, I think they're going to be excited to play, and a team who's fired up could be dangerous. So excited to see what American could do.
I'm looking forward to these tournaments. I'm very excited to see these kids play in person, and I'm also very excited to have the Garden State esports community see these kids play because it's a great thing about esports is that it is open to everyone, and one of the true joys of getting to do everything I get to do with this league is getting to know these programs, these coaches, these players, and give them an opportunity to show off their skill in an arena that they may never have had the opportunity to do so. So I'm excited for everyone to be able to come together, like we've been able to come together with our high school and middle school community, and welcome the ESDAA into that family, and have them at the event.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, same thing for me. Excited to have them. And as we move on to the other segments of our show, I'd like to thank my amazing sister for taking time away from my beautiful niece, Noah, to come and interpret for us. And so, as we continue to host these schools and these events, we want to continue to be as inclusive as possible. So, we're working on closed captioning and a full time interpreter for streams and stuff like that. But like everything, it is a work in progress. So, we wanted to make sure, though, that we had Michelle here for the special announcement because we wanted to let them know um, that we're excited to have them and we can't wait for them to compete. So thank you, my sister, for jumping in and helping me out with this. And I'll see you soon. Say hi to Noah for you. Thank you. Wonderful. So there we go. And you'll notice, some new graphics. You'll notice a new look behind the scenes. We have a whole new setup. So number one, hopefully it's awesome. Uh, but number two, hopefully we don't have too many snafus. But on top of the ESDAA championships, the other thing that we want to announce that is going to be happening for the first time is we are bringing all of our collegiate conference teams together to compete at the fall championships, right? So if you didn't know, we run a college league as well, right? So many of our students graduated and they said, we want to keep the fun going. So we started a college league a couple of years ago. And I think we're up to about 20, 22 colleges playing with us. And previously, we would have 2 seasons and they would compete in the winter and the spring, and that would be the Collegiate Conference Championship. But what we're doing is something a little bit different this year. Number one, we are having a year long season for the colleges. But number two, we are bringing all of the colleges together for our fall championship and our winter championship to compete. And from a competition standpoint, the reason we're doing that is we're going to take our very, far North Jersey schools, we're going to take our very far South Jersey colleges, and we're going to make them meet in the middle at Georgian Court and have them compete. But the other reason we're doing this, besides the fact that we noticed that we had 40 or so computers, kind of sitting empty as we, wound down the tournament, is really so that our middle schools and high schoolers can meet and see these college programs play. So everybody from Princeton to Rutgers, New Brunswick, will be competing, and you'll have the opportunity not just to watch them compete, but you'll get to talk to the kids and get to talk to the esports program directors as well. So that way, you can figure out if one of these colleges is going to be the right home for you. And so, Mike, as we take a look at the current standings after two matches, excuse me, two conference dates, talk to us about what we're going to see matchup wise as the collegiate conference comes to the fall championship.
Yeah, the cool thing about the collegiate conference this year, like you mentioned, is that everybody plays everybody this time around. We had more of a traditional divisional setup with North and South, and um, feedback from the colleges is that they wanted more competition, more better. And so, huge shout out to our college commissioner John DeMarco out of Woodbury High School, who put together a schedule that is able to suit 13 colleges in our Smash conference and 9 colleges in our Overwatch conference, and make sure everybody gets to play everybody. They're still playing in person. Every match is still in person. That's at the DNA of GSE. Um, and so being able to bring them in person to our championship events so that everybody can see them play, meet the players, meet the coaches, and just get a sense of what collegiate esports looks like in New Jersey is fantastic. But as you look at these standings, you'll see where programs are sitting right now as we move towards our third match state out of 5. Um, and Brookdale and Rutgers are at the top of the Rutgers pyramid, top of the Smash pyramid rather, with NJIT and Brookdale at the top there. But we have some pretty awesome matchups to keep an eye on because, like you said, we're getting into the schools that can't travel to one another, that are actually right next to each other in the standings. So keep an eye out at the championships. Rutgers and Ryder will be playing, as well as Brookdale and Ryder. So our top 3 Smash schools will all be playing to some extent one another and continuing to jostle for position. So Ryder might be able to surge a little bit with a sweep. And then on the Overwatch side of things, we have Camden County Community College and Stockton. We'll have a matchup at GCU, or and Camden County College and Brookdale will have a matchup as well, which may come into play when we look to take our top 4 into a playoff at the end of the season. So those matches on the Overwatch side will start at 1 p.m. You'll see them in the little LAN area that's on the floor of the arena, as well as our Smash matches. So you can watch those, you can cheer those. If you're just hungry for more Smash or hungry for some Overwatch in anticipation of the winter time, check out our college programs because that might be where you wind up.
Beautiful. And, don't sleep on some of our college kids. We have Farrow out of Rutgers, New Brunswick, who I believe finished top 8 at, was it Collision? We also have a national champ, two-time national champ, I believe, out of Brookdale playing Smash. So we have some really talented kids. And so hopefully some of our high schoolers will be next in line to play in the college league. But definitely come, keep an eye out the afternoon, watch the colleges. They'll be there at their tables, they'll be there meeting everybody. So that's the other, one of the other exciting things we're doing on top of the ESDAA championships is we're also going to have the collegiate conferences there playing. So, but now I think it's time to get on with the score.
Yeah,
Yep.
math.
Yeah. So, I got Coach DeMarco Farrow was third at Collision and is top 120 in the world. So, um,
Is
yeah,
that good?
it sounds really good.
Yeah, seems good.
Awesome. But yeah, so let's figure out which of our middle schools and high schools are going to be competing for a state championship this season. And first, as always, we like to start off with the math. I'm
Yes.
hoping by now that everybody understands the math, but
Well,
it's always good to review.
here's the great thing is you will see on these coming slides we have a bunch of schools that have not made the playoffs before.
Hmm.
GSE continues to grow. This was our largest fall season ever. It was in the running for our largest season ever, period. So we continue to grow. We continue to have new schools where a playoff score may be a foreign concept to them. But also just a little bit of review because of learning loss over the summer. We want to make sure that we bring everybody back up to speed. So here at GSE, we have a single formula to account for your wins, your losses, your ties, how many individual games or maps you're winning, and things like that. And it weights those in order to balance. Some teams play 7 matches, some teams play 6 with a bye week over the course of our 7-week regular season. And we don't want to hinder anyone that we just didn't give 7 matches to because their conference was smaller. But we also want to reward people that had the tougher road and had to play 7 and won them all. So it has worked out pretty well for us in the past. There are fewer busted brackets as we move through the playoffs. So we're pretty happy with where playoff score is. Um, this is a lot of words on the slide. So the next slide is a pie graph. Your game winning percentage, those individual games, is equal to your match winning percentage. And then the raw number of wins that you get is turned into points: 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. And it fills the pie graph that way. These playoff scores are visible to every coach. Um, our formula is here in case you wanted to crunch the numbers yourself. There is no hidden information. We're not using PowerPoints or anything like that. It's just straight up what you can see in the GSE portal as a coach goes into this formula and pops out the result that you see on the screen as well. So if you wanted to calculate it yourself and check our work, you absolutely could. Yeah.
And then what it comes down to is when we seed this, the criteria, playoff score is the most heavily weighted criteria. So your playoff score is really where you get your seed from. If you happen to be able to jump somebody head to head, that can move you ahead of somebody who has a higher playoff score. But generally speaking, your playoff score helps figure out where you're going to land. And it's really important to know because we do have a lot of this in our show tonight is you cannot jump somebody who's not above you and you cannot jump more than one spot. So if you're the eighth seed and you beat the first seed somehow, you don't get to automatically jump everybody and go to the first seed. You can only jump up one spot. And to initiate that jump, your team has to be right ahead of you. And so you're going to see quite a few times here that playoff score, seeded kids or excuse me, seeded teams in certain spaces, but then a team directly defeated the team above them, and so they jumped them, right?
We even have, for the first time, we have a double jump.
A
So that'll
double.
be interesting.
I
That'll
do
be
like a double
interesting to
jump.
get into where, it is one jump at a time, but it happens twice in a row, which is interesting.
I love it.
But we'll get into it.
All right. And so other things that factor into your seeding process: fewer players suspended, fewest forfeits, records versus common opponents, best wins. You'll see strength of schedule a lot, which is the average of all playoff scores from each individual team's schedule, including their own. And then worst case scenario, if you are equal to the team to get the seed, we will do a coin flip. But I guess technically it's not a coin flip. It is your new 20-sided
Yeah. Yes,
D&D die that is Bluetooth connected to
it's
your phone.
Bluetooth connected, so we try and stay above board here, and I don't want to move my camera around. So I can hold the phone in front of the camera and roll the die, and you'll be able to see what number it is.
Right. So you might remember last year there were some coin flips. This year we will be rolling a Bluetooth connected die that hooks up to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
What a time to be alive, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. Um,
Future is now.
future is now. And then quickly talk to us, Mike, about playoff size because we try to take what 50% of the teams.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so how does that work?
The TLDR of all of this is we try to take 50% of the teams that competed into the playoffs, right? And the way we do that is we start by before the season even begins, when we make conferences and divisions and things like that you're going to compete in, we sort everyone from 0 to 1 billion. A billion being like Cherry Hill East Side High School, school population. And then we divide everyone into 4 groups based on population size. So if you look at the name of the conference you play in, you'll see Group 1, Group 2. As the leagues get bigger, you'll see Group 2 North, Group 2 South, Group 3 Central, things like that. And then from there is where we make our playoff brackets. And we like to take 50% of each group into a playoff bracket. Sometimes we combine groups in order to get a usable playoff bracket that is meaningful and practical. And so we have a slide here just detailing exactly which brackets have been formed. This also got posted a few weeks ago, about halfway through the season, once we knew that this is how it's going to shape up. But for Rocket League, we have 3 brackets. We're combining groups 1 and 2, our smaller schools, while group 3 and group 4 have individual brackets. In Super Smash Brothers, groups 1 and 2 each have an 18 bracket, which will combine North and South. And then groups 3 and 4, which each had a central division, so 24 total teams, they're going to get a 16-team bracket. Middle School Rocket League, Middle School Smash Bros, and this is wrong. League of Legends only gets 4, but um, the middle schoolers, they will be playing a top 8 bracket for each of Rocket League and Smash Bros. League of Legends and Valkyrie Smash Bros will get a top 4 bracket. And Marvel Rivals Group 1 will have a 4-team bracket all to themselves, while groups 2, 3, and 4, which each had a North and South, will get an 8-team bracket each.
Love it. All right, without further ado, let's get
Let's do
into
it.
the playoff reveal. So, as always, we will start with our middle school program so we can get them off to bed. But here is your middle school Rocket League breakdown. Go ahead and talk us through it, Mike.
Yeah, and so on these slides where we reveal the seeds themselves, anytime you see a star next to a school, that means they won their conference. So if you think back to our seeding flow chart, we always do our conference champions first. They get the top seeds for however many conferences make up a bracket. And then we take the next however many just in straight playoff score, regardless of whatever conference you may have been in. It is not, an 18 bracket, 2 conferences. We do not take the top 4 from each. Think of it like wild cards in baseball or any of the other sports where we pile everyone into one group and sort by playoff score to get those wild cards. So right off the bat, Jonas Salk went undefeated, and Maurice River is the conference champion from the other conference there. Smith Middle School gets the 3. Warren gets the 4 out of West Jersey, which is awesome. Camden's Promise gets the 5. Stafford, Southern, and South Amboy, which is a new competitor, if I believe. This is our first head-to-head jump. They actually steal the 8 seed from the greatest middle school program of all time, West Essex, with a head-to-head win. And so those head-to-head wins are extremely important when you get to the end of the season. Every single match matters. As you can see here, it was the difference between a playoff berth and a not playoff berth going to
Yeah.
Cancun.
And for those of you who are new to the program, Mike is from the West Essex School District, so sometimes this bias slides on in. But here's what that bracket's going to look like. Jonas Salk is going to play South Amboy. Warren's going to play Camden's Promise. Maurice River at the 2 seeds going to play Southern Regional. And then we got Eric Smith Middle School playing Stafford with the 3-6 matchup. And so, again, as always, Mike and I, we like to predict. The rumor is apparently Mike won last year's predictions by 1 selection. I'll take his word for it. I haven't mathed the math, but we have our 2 wins, who we think is going to be the state champion. We have our 2 watch, who comes out of a top half of a bracket that may, be able to sneak out a victory. And then we have our dark horse, who's the team to watch in the bottom half of the bracket. And so Jonas Salk had a great season. Coach Chuck over there has really got that team humming, and I think that they're going to bring it home. It looks like you think the same thing.
I do. I don't know how many players returned from their run last year, but they made a heck of a run in the 2v2s last spring. And it seems like they picked right up where they left off. So they improved their lot by a couple of seeds. They're the number 1 now. That always makes things nice. And I think they're going to sail. But I'm keeping my eye on Warren, who has been sniffing around the playoffs for a while now. They've joined, I think, fall of last year, maybe, and they've been in the hunt. And but always, Southern Regional has shocked the world before. I remember being at the casino last year, their first ever season, and they were hopping up onto the stage in the 3v3 Rocket League. So, they're my dark horse coming out of the bottom of that bracket.
Love it. And so I have Eric Smith to watch. Had a good season. Could be able to pull off the upset. And then you're taking Southern, so I thought I would grab myself from Stafford, just because related programs in the same neck of the woods. I always like to see a Stafford Southern matchup, so maybe we'll get that at some point. But if anybody could do it, Stafford could. It's a good program down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so that wraps up our middle school Rocket League 2v2. And remind us, Mike, they're going directly to Georgian Court.
Yes, all 8 teams in that bracket will be playing at Georgian Court. So get your bus. All of the rounds are in person.
So if you see your name, you heard your name announced, right? Jonas Salk, South Amboy, Warren, Camden's Promise. Make sure you have a bus. You're going to Georgian Court to play. And then our other middle school conference is our Smash Cruise. And let me tell you, what this was unbelievably competitive. I mean, this took some serious seeding.
Yeah.
So why don't you walk us through just how deep this rabbit hole goes?
Yeah, so we had three conferences of middle school Smash, and all three of the champions went perfect. Kenneth R. Olson's conference was bit on the small side, but all three conference champs went absolutely perfect in their you know in their matches, and so we had to go all the way down because they didn't share any opponents or anything like that. So
Mhm.
we had to go all the way to strength of schedule right off the bat. And so Madawan gets the top seed just based on fractions of a point of strength of schedule. Kawami comes in second, and Kenneth R. Olson goes third. Southern Regional is our 4 seed. Smiths are 5. Orange Ave, always in the mix, coming in at 6. Center School gets a 7, and Camden's Promise gets the 8. Incredibly tight middle school smash.
Yeah, a lot of talent.
There's a lot of talent there. The game is very competitive. You'll notice here in our top 8 we do not see Burnett,
Mm-mm.
and so I think that shows you just the level that middle school Smash has gotten to, where a team that is almost always in the playoffs, almost always on the stage, fighting for a championship, missed out on the bracket this year.
Absolutely. And so when we take a look at that bracket, Madawan's going to be playing Camden's Promise. Southern Regional is going to be playing Smith Middle School. We got the new team in Union, Kawami, taking the number 2, going to play the Center School. And then we got Kenneth R. Olson in beautiful Tabernacle taking on Orange Ave. So again, if you see your name, you are playing at Georgian Court. Warm up that bus. And who's going to be bringing home the belt on that bus? It's going to be Coach Balmer and you know Madawan. Madawan almost pulled it off last year. I think they were right there. And I know that they've been working really hard. And I got to see a couple matches and got to, they're solid. I think Madawan might be able to do it. If I don't think it's Madawan, I think it's going to be Kwame. Like I said, Union used to go through Burnett. Looks like it's going through Kwame these days, at least for now. And I think Kwame might be able to pull off an upset from that top half of that bracket.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kenneth Olson at a Tabernacle got the short end of the strength of schedule stick. They were in the smallest conference, so I know it's an average, but what if there were a seventh team in there to give them another match, to give them a tougher road and bear it out? So I think a 3 seed can absolutely take this thing. I'm excited to see if everything goes on chalk, what a Tabernacle Kawami semifinal looks like.
That'd be awesome.
And so there's going to be a lot of great matchups here. I'm watching Smith as well. Whenever I look for my to watches or my dark horses, I look to see who has won more games than
Mm.
necessary to get their record, and who has lost the fewest. And I think Smith is poised to sort of shock Southern in the 4-5 matchup. But at the same time, Orange Ave, like I said, they're always there. They've been ever since their inception as a program. They've been hunting around the playoffs. Great group there, and so you know, believe and believe.
Yeah, and for my dark horse, I think Center School. You talk about another program since they've been around, have always been competitive. Center School is small but mighty. Center School
Mhm.
always seems to find a way to be competitive, and you will hear throughout our evening tonight that I put a lot of stake into schools that have been there before. And Center School's won a state championship, and when you're playing in front of 2,000 people for the first time, it's incredibly intimidating. So I always tend to prefer teams that have had success in person before because it is very hard to just show up having never played in front of such a huge crowd and do well. So I think Center School has a lot of experience down at that bottom half of the bracket, just like Orange Ave, and wouldn't be surprised if they could pull something else off. And so as we transition from our middle schoolers, let's talk about Valkyrie. Mike, go ahead and fill us in.
Yeah, this is another great thing that I'm very proud that GSE does. Our Valkyrie League is an additional championship season that we offer that is specially for girls, marginalized gender, and our non binary players. We even schedule it on a different day from our traditional championship seasons. So those players that qualify don't have to pick. And it, is just aiming at increasing participation in esports. When you look at all of the statistics, you see that over half of gamers are girls, but it's still esports is a male dominated
Hmm.
area, and a lot of that is just they don't, the Valkyrie eligible players aren't quite sure if it's an environment that they will thrive in, right? As nice as the advisor might be, as no matter what good things they might hear, it's tough to break through um, those stigmas and those stereotypes and perhaps those perceived boundaries, and just give them a place to play. And then what you'll see when we get into all stars is that players that are coming out for the Valkyrie program earn their way into starting positions on the co-ed championship team, and then they make all-star. And so we frequently see Valkyrie players making all-star in the co-ed leagues alongside the boys. And so it's a great thing to just make sure these players are coming out and showing that they are capable, and competitive, and just as good um, as our co-ed teams. So we offer 4 Valkyrie leagues each year. This fall it was in Super Smash Bros. Cruise. We have a Valkyrie coming up for Overwatch 2, and in the spring, we'll be offering Valkyrie Valorant and as well as Valkyrie Mario Kart.
Yeah, and I always like to point out, when we looked at the demographics of our league and we saw that we had only 4% among, our non-binary, marginalized genders and female, players participating, we wanted to change it because we know that those players play games just as much as the boys do. And so last time I ran the numbers, we're up to about 28%. And like you said, a lot of these players do find their way onto a co-ed team, which is what we're looking for. So we are continuing to do our best to get to 50% because that's what it should be. And so Valkyrie League, like the ESDAA, like the college conference, and everything else that we do is something that we're really proud of because we want to make sure everybody has a seat at the table and everybody knows that they're welcome to play with us. And so, Mike, talk us through how Valkyrie Smash shook out this year.
Yeah, so we have a new king of the playgrounds. We have Bayonne taking down the statewide conference with an undefeated season. But right at their heels is High Tech and Cape May Tech. The conference was larger than 8, so not everybody played everybody. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why you're looking at High Tech and Cape May Tech with the same exact record. And then Shawnee rounds out our top 4. I think this is extremely strong Valkyrie Smash. I think anybody can take it. And as we move into our picks, I think it bears out based on bracket first, I guess.
Yep.
Bayonne will play Shawnee. All of this is at Georgian Court, so top 4 is all in person. Bayonne will take on Shawnee, and High Tech will take on Cape May Tech. So we'll have public versus tech school in the final, guaranteed. But I think it bears itself out in the picks, right? I think Cape May Tech can take this down. I think anybody can win it, especially since we know not everybody played everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if it's not Cape May Tech, I mean, it's hard to ignore an undefeated season, right? It's hard to go undefeated.
And I couldn't ignore it. So I picked myself a Bayonne, had a great season. But, you can't also not mention High Tech, right? High Tech has an unbelievable history playing Smash. Very active community, very active players playing not just in our league, but playing, matches around the country, won nationals multiple
Mhm.
times. And so, anytime High Tech is in the mix, especially in Smash, you got to be a little bit worried. And so, if anybody's going to pull up the upset, right, because some of these are newer programs playing, so they haven't played in person, I think High Tech might be able to do it. So, Bayonne, I think, is going to bring it home, but I think High Tech, might be the team to watch. So, and then moving from Valkyrie, we get into League of Legends.
Yeah, man.
Here we go. Talk to us about League.
Yeah, so our league season continues to go. Coach Brown over at Barnegat steering the ship to another undefeated season. But Northern Valley Ultapan is back with a vengeance, right? I feel like there's always a Northern Valley. Um, kind of like there must always be a captain of the Flying Dutchman, right? There always has to be a Northern Valley. Last year it was Demarest. This year it's Old
Mhm.
Japan. Sniffing around a League of Legends championship. Cherry Hill East, perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Mhm.
Takes the 3 seed with their 2-2-2. And then we had Edison and Passaic, who could not be differentiated. And so they actually tie all the way down for our number 4 seed. And that is why we have to live in the future and roll a d20.
And so the winner of this roll will find themselves at Georgian Court. The loser of the roll is out.
They're welcome
So
to come to Georgian Court. It's just,
I hope they do come.
well, so League of Legends will play around beforehand.
Oh,
The
that's
winner
right.
of this
That's right.
roll
That's
will
right.
be able to play for a chance to go to Georgian Court.
You're right. I
And
forgot because League takes between
League takes
3 and
about
12
3
hours.
years, to
Right.
play a match.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like
So
Quidditch.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very nervous about your Bluetooth
It's going to be
enabled
great.
20-sided die.
What I would like you to do for me is tell
Yes.
me for Edison, are they 1 to 10 or 11 to 20?
So Edison, since they are in the beginning of the alphabet, we're gonna assign Edison 1 to 10,
Okay, great.
and
So I'm gonna.
Passaic will be 11 to 20.
All right, can you read that or is it backwards?
I can kind of read it.
Let's just go super huge.
Is
All
that
right, so you got a 12. I have not yet rolled.
okay? We got 12,
Okay,
13,
comes.
5, 1, 12. Here we go.
it is a 4.
So with
Oh,
that, Edison,
hang on, let me edit the slide. Go back.
edit the slide. Hurry.
Okay,
Edison,
refresh.
we're good. It's not even refreshed because
Oh, great.
I'm not even sharing the slideshow window, so it's a live edit. There we go. Edison with the unbelievably somewhat anticlimactic dice roll gets the 4 seed by rolling a 4, equal as all things should be. Let's see. Oh, cool. I didn't pick Edison, so I'm okay. I don't even have to change that slide because you take a look at the records, Mike. It's kind of a 2-horse race, right? We've seen Cherry Hill be competitive and win state championships previously, but listen, Barnegat has been dominant. And as much as I love seeing Coach Brown in a suit with all of his papers and his folders and his headset, and I don't know if the headset's even connected to anything. I think he just puts the cord in his pocket, but it looks awesome. But I saw that you picked Barnegat, and just to make it fun, I'm going to go at Northern Valley Old Japan because Coach Lai and those players.
Also suited up. So we're gonna
Yeah.
have the best looking coaching staff.
Yes, best dressed staff,
on
League of
stage.
Legends, and I think it's going to be a heck of a match, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to go. It'll probably go 3 games. It'll take a year and a half. We'll just all be waiting around, waiting for League of Legends to finish. But no, I think Barnegat they start practicing.
in
They start
August.
practicing or before August. Like I was talking to Coach Brown at the coaching course, and he already was talking about the homework he was giving his players. But on the same token, so does Old Japan. I know we reached out to them early about league, and Coach Lai said, "Look, I got a crop of kids. All they want to do is play league." And so, Clash of the Titans.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, and listen, it's going to be a great match. High level League of Legends is a lot of fun to watch. So
It is.
I'm excited to see the match. I think it's going to be NVOT versus Barnegat. Barnegat, I mean, I think has like 100 championships at this point. Wouldn't be surprised if they bring home another state championship, but the rivalry between NVOT and Barnegat is always fun to watch, and so looking forward to having them play, and excited to see some league.
Yeah. Both teams have won a state championship in league, and Old Japan actually has an interstate championship.
This is true. We took our state
We
championship.
took our state champ and beat the pants off Pennsylvania's state champ.
That's right. They should have known better. So now it's time to get into the high school breakdowns for Rocket League. So here we have Group 1 and 2, which we combined. So we have the most meaningful tournament possible for our players. And so walk us through what is going on for Rocket League Group 1 and 2.
Yeah, so your conference champs were Cape May Tech and Newark Data Science. Undefeated teams, fairly clean. Cape May dropped a couple of games, but they're followed by Liberty, McNair, Mercer Tech back in the mix. Hawthorne, Haddon Heights, and Manchester Township. So you see there that Haddon Heights actually had a better playoff score
Hmm.
than Hawthorne, but Hawthorne beat them head to head, and Haddon Heights has the head to head over Manchester Township. So they get to stay where they are essentially. So that is noted there, um, just to keep things clean. I believe Manchester Township had a head to head over Hawthorne, but it's too late. Hawthorne already moved up. They jumped out of the way. So um, those are your top 8 from groups 1 and 2.
And so for the all rounds, right, we will see all of these
Yes,
teams
we will
at
see all
Georgian
of these
Court.
teams at Georgian Court on the 22nd.
So we got Cape May versus Manchester. We got McNair versus Mercer. We got Newark Data versus Haddon Heights. So we got Liberty versus Hawthorne, all taking place at Georgian Court. So make sure you get your buses going. And so for me, listen, Cape May stacked. Wouldn't be surprised if they won it. But Newark Data, I feel like it's their time. They've been in the league now for 2 years. They've been rumbling. They've been finding themselves in the playoff. You know, I think it's only a matter of time, and I think that time is now. So I picked myself some Newark Data to pull off the upset over Cape May.
Yeah, so peek behind the curtain, I use the same slideshow from fall to fall. And so Newark Data was in the middle of the bracket last fall,
Mm-hmm.
and now they are at the top of the bracket. So I think they've got a chance. I'm keeping an eye on them, but I can't go away from Cape May. I think there's a real chance that Cape May comes home from these championships with 4 belts. This season shaped up like every time I was looking at the seeds, Cape May Tech was at the top. And but their bread and butter is Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Patterson knows the ins and outs down there, and they show it every time. So I think they're going to win it. But my dark horse is Hawthorne. Kind of new to the league, but showing up in a big way, getting those head-to-head wins to get themselves a bit of a safer seed. 6 versus not going to go there. They got the 6 seed instead of the other one, and but that could be a huge boon, right? You stay away from the conference champions and work towards the middle of the bracket to maybe make a run.
Yeah, I think Liberty had a great season. I like them in the top half of the bracket. If anyone I think is going to knock off somebody in the top half of the bracket, I think Liberty gets the job done. Dark horse, I always got to pick my Manchester Township, my hometown. I live basically across the street from the high school, and I got to go in and hang out. And listen, we're bringing home a belt to Manchester Township, one way or the other. So hopefully that time is now. But I'm going to take I'm going to take Coach Liz. I'm going to take the Manchester Township team to hopefully pull off the greatest upset of all time, and I will personally arrange for a parade through town should they do it. So I will put them in the back of my minivan, and they can wave as we drive around Manchester. But I'm picking Manchester for my dark horse, hoping they can pull off the amazing upset. But let's talk about Rocket League Group 3, which is not that.
No, it's the other direction.
I'm going in the wrong direction. Now
There
I'm in
you
the
go.
right direction. Here we
All right.
go. Talk to me about Group 3 Rocket League.
Yeah, so ho hum. Morris Hills and Seneca won their conferences. Storied programs. Both of them have won multiple. Both of them have won state championships and tournament championships in Rocket League. So no big surprise to see them at the top there. Colonia, Cedar Creek, Cranford are your next 3, and then Dover, Triton, and Mainland. Um, get into the playoffs as your 6, 7, 8 seeds. And Mainland does so by virtue of having the fewest forfeits of
Mm,
teams tied at 3, 3, 9, and 9 with a 40.5. So play your matches.
play your matches.
At the very least, you know, it's going to get you a playoff berth, right? So a 3-3 team that lost one of them by playing it versus a 3-3 team that lost one by forfeiting it. Yeah, we take the team that played.
Absolutely. And so we take a look at the bracket. Again, if you are on the screen, you are playing at Georgian Court. We got Morris Hills versus Mainland. We got Cedar Creek versus Cranford. We got Seneca versus Triton. And then we got Colonia over in Woodbridge against Dover. And I mean, listen, you know, Seneca, they got some supersonic legends over there. Will and his crew, multi-time state champ. They won the state championship as freshmen
Yes.
4 years ago. And I think have tacked on at least two more state championships since then. So you talk about a power team, right? I think Seneca is going to give Morris Hills a run for their money. I think Seneca is going to get the job done, but if they can't, I think it's Morris Hills. These two teams, I'm telling you, if there is a not mismatch at this
Yes.
championship, Seneca versus Morris Hills is going to be wild.
Yeah.
It's
they're gonna
nuts.
do things with these cars that I don't understand how it happens. Like there people are throwing out like phrases for the tech that they're doing, and I'm like, how does he any I'm happy if I hit the ball while it's in the air. But I think Morris Hills, they have an any time, any place attitude when it comes to winning.
Hmm.
You know, they won the state championship, I think in the fall, and then they won the Plainfield Invitational. They're like, oh, there's
Hmm.
a tournament, we'll go win it. And
Yeah.
then 2 weeks later, won another state championship in twos. So, you know, they Morris Hills and Seneca, you can't go wrong. I had to put both of them on my picks. But if anybody is gonna make a run here, I got to look at Cranford. And again, I always look at teams that win more games than necessary to get their record, right? So you look at Cranford, they have those 16 game wins. They know how to steal games from people when it's live, when it's loud, people are crushing. You know, you lose a game and that momentum starts to turn. You don't know what's going to happen because all these rounds are in person. Nothing is from the safety of your school. And you're playing another team across the state and everything's quiet and you get to focus. People leave you alone. No, there are people celebrating, there are people yelling. We have to have like ropes and bouncers to keep people away from you. It's a different beast, right? And so you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Uh, Similar. Dover, hoping Dover can make some noise. I look at some teams and I say, okay, one win here, one round, one less round drop there. They're in a different position. I think Dover might be able to make something happen. So I'm going to take Dover as my dark horse. And that rounds out your group three, 2v2 Rocket League. And again, everybody's playing at Georgian Court. But now we get into the big kids.
The big
We
schools.
get into the group four. So
You
talk to
must have
us.
you must have 3,000 or more students to play in this league. Heightstown. Correct me if I'm wrong. Heightstown new,
Newish, definitely.
newish.
Yeah, I think a
But
season or two under their belt.
Heightstown and Plainfield conference, your conference champions, going undefeated. Cherokee and Union are your 3 and 4. That is by virtue of strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Northern Burlington is the 5, East Side the 6. John F. Kennedy takes the 7, and Southern Regional gets that head-to-head win over Lenape, and that sneaks them right into the playoffs as the 8 seed. Again, very top-heavy, 1 through 6 here,
Mm-hmm.
where anybody that's winning 5 games out of 7, they got a shot.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a little bit different than Group Three, where Seneca, and Morris Hills are kind of untouchable. I think there's a lot more opportunity here for somebody to pull off an upset. And
Well, you're looking at you've got Union
mhm.
defending champions.
This is true. Yeah. I mean, you've the defending champs at the 4 seed. And we know that, Burnett, the middle school uh,
Hmm.
that feeds into Union, I believe Kwame too, right? So you're talking about those storied middle school programs coming together and having all of their kids meet up in Union. It's not like those kids haven't won multiple state championships.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got a number 4 seed that's won it as a high school, but you probably got 3 or 4 kids over there as middle schoolers who won 2 or 3 state championships. So, yeah, similar to what you're talking about. But let's take a look at the bracket. We're going to see everybody at Georgian Court. Heightstown's going to play Southern Regional. Union's going to play Northern Burlington. We got Plainfield versus JFK, and then we got Cherokee playing East Side. Uh, but listen, I think Heightstown, new, hungry, something to prove. I think, like I said, this is a conference where anybody could win, and I think Heightstown's going to get it done. I think my watch is Cherokee. Right? We know that Seneca, great program. Cherokee, right? Related. Sometimes maybe doesn't get the credit that they deserve, but Cherokee is usually hanging with the big schools and making a run for the playoffs. So I could see Cherokee in that top half of the bracket pulling something off because I think, like I said, I don't think anybody in this bracket's untouchable. So I think anybody can probably bring it home. Like you said, 5-2. Who knows what can happen? But what do you got?
I'm going with Plainfields. Met some of those kids at the Invitational.
Hmm.
They do serious business over there. They're hungry. Lost in the final to Union. This may just be the same kids, right? So a possible Plainfield Union reunion in the final. When you look at
Hmm.
a 2 and a 4, they're on opposite sides of the bracket, trying to make some noise. But Eastside surprised me a little bit, and they popped out with a 5-2 record there, and you know, I think it's a whole new ball game when you're playing in person, right? We give you 15 minutes to warm up. It's not your comfort zone,
Hmm.
and you start stealing games from people, and things might collapse.
Well, and I'll tell you the other thing too, not to be underestimated about the Newark programs like Eastside or like Data Science. They travel really well regardless if they're in the playoffs or not. Newark gets some buses to come down and come watch and participate and be there. So they travel well, just like we see Union travels well, Plainfield travels well. So maybe that might be the difference. But I'm going to go ahead and keep an eye on Northern Burlington. Northern Burlington, I think, can pull off an upset. Again, nobody's untouchable. So, looking at the records, seeing who they lost to, they almost lost to, they beat. I think Northern Burlington might be able to do something. So, going to keep an eye on them. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think the name of the game here is you know anybody's championship. So that's always an exciting one too, right? You have kind of a two-horse race with Seneca and Morris Hills in Group 3, but Group 4 is wide open,
Yeah.
and that also could be some of the most exciting matches of the day. Is two teams is going after it. So,
Hmm.
and let's see. With that, I think it's time to get into high school Smash. Or
Yes.
should we take a commercial break first before Smash?
We can talk very slowly as the ads roll.
Oh, I don't even know if the ad roll's going out. I just know.
Oh, well, people are saying 3 minutes of ads
Oh, are they?
in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, 3 minute ad break. Okay, we can kind of talk a little bit slow here.
Do 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 do.
A great way to not get ads, Mike, is to
Is if you subscribe to the channel.
use
You know, if you're a
mom and
Twitch,
dad.
yeah, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can use your Twitch Prime subscription right here on GSE.
Yeah, listen, mom and dad probably have Amazon Prime
Hmm.
subscription. Doesn't cost anything additional to throw some love your way,
It's
my
true,
way, and
and
keep the doors of GSE open.
you get to make Jeff Bezos fund a nonprofit against his will.
That's always nice. It's always nice to make them do things they don't want to do. But all
All right,
right,
let's talk about Smash. We'll leave it
here
up
we
there.
go. All right, so Smash Group 1. So Group 1 does have its own conference because we had about 1 billion teams play Smash this season.
Yes.
And so everybody gets to participate. So talk to us about Group 1.
Absolutely. So we had a North and a South. Clayton are your South champions, while the community school are your North champions by virtue of a head-to-head victory over Hopatcong to win that
Mm-hmm.
conference championship. So even though their playoff score is a little bit worse, they beat Hopatcong when it mattered, when they were head-to-head on the schedule. So they get the 2.
Absolutely.
Hopatcong gets the 3. Hoboken gets the 4. Woodbury, by virtue of a head-to-head over Mercer Tech, gets the 5 seed. Mercer Tech with the 6. David Brearley and Woodstown. This is a fun little splitsies that we had here. David Brearley actually beat the community school. That they were the community school's loss. So when it came to our 3-3 teams, their best win was first place. So they beat the first place team. Doesn't get any better than that.
that
So
helps.
so they get the 7 seed, and Woodstown gets the 8 seed with their head-to-head win over Henry Hudson, sneaking in.
Love it. And so we take a look. Everybody on the screen, guess what? You're going to Georgian Court. Clayton's playing Woodstown, Hoboken versus Woodbury. We got Community versus David Brearley. We got Hopatcong at the 3 seed playing Mercer Tech at the 6 seed. So if you see your school, make sure you get those buses because you're playing at Georgian Court. And for me, I felt Clayton was dominant. I think that they're going to continue the dominance throughout the tournament. I think if they can't get it done, the team to watch is Woodbury, coached by Coach DeMarco over there, who brought in an alumni ringer, if I'm remembering correctly. So not only is Coach DeMarco, coaching that program as well as he always does, but he brought in some extra talent to support that Smash team. And so I think it's one of those things that we got a couple weeks until the championship. And any time that you can give a program like Woodbury the ability to practice and game plan, they could be dangerous. Um, and then I got my dark horse. I got Coach M over at Woodstown, maybe the most excited program in the state, getting in at the 8th seed. Wouldn't be surprised. Something magical happen. What do you got, Mike?
I mean, I Hopakong is gonna get the monkey off their back. They're gonna win this cruise championship, um, and I think they're gonna take it down. I know they've been on the stage multiple times and have come up short, but I think that ends this year. I'm keeping my eye on Hoboken. But this first round matchup between Hopakong and Mercer Tech, I always, my catchphrase is that Mercer Tech will scout your soul. In those games where they can really dig into tracker and figure out what you ate for breakfast that morning and the result that it had, and then they go like buy out the food trucks so that you
Yep.
can't eat that. And
Mm-hmm.
they don't have that in Smash, but everybody knows who Hopakong plays.
Mm-hmm.
They've got an Isabel and they've got a Luigi,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody knows that. So I think, like you said, with a couple of weeks to prepare, I think I know what kind of level 9 bots Mercer Tech will be playing against in order to prep. And so that 6-3 matchup, I think, is going to be some fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Opakong will pull it out and bring home that belt for Smash.
Love it. Love it. Wishing everybody good luck. And again, if you were mentioned, we'll see you at Georgian Court as we slide into Group 2.
Yeah, Group 2 Smash is also extremely exciting. Everybody over 500. We got some old names and new names as well. Northern Valley Demarest, undefeated in Smash. We have St. Joe's Adam Metuchen coming in, winning their conference with a head-to-head over Cape May. But Cape May then gets that 3 seed. Camden
Mm-hmm.
gets the 4. Technology High School with their head-to-head over Verona jumps them and steals the 5 seed. Verona comes in at the 6. We have Manchester Regional with the 7 seed, and West Deptford back in the mix for Smash once again with that 8 seed. So all of these teams coming to Georgian Court.
Absolutely. And so the matchup breakdown looks like Demarest versus Deptford. You got Camden Academy versus Technology High School. You got St. Joe's Metuchen playing Manchester Regional, and you got Cape May Tech taking on Verona. Again, get the buses because you're going. There's no virtual round. It is all live and in person. So you probably want to also start piping in the sound into your classroom so you could start playing, with the crowd noise. But I'm liking Demarest, man. I think to go, undefeated and do as well as they did in a conference that's got a St. Joe's and a conference that's got a Cape May Tech. I don't know if their conference was as tough as St. Joe's as Cape May's Tech's conference, but I think that I think they're going to hold out. I think they're going to hold on, and I'm going to take Demarest. But if it ain't Demarest, I think it's going to be our new friends from St. Joe's. I think they're going to show up, and I think they're going to play tough. And so I think one of those two teams are going to bring it home.
I figure if I just keep picking Cape May Tech, I'll get one of them right. But no, I mean, Cape May Tech, multiple time champion in Smash. They're moved up to Group 2 this year because we had some schools, believe it or not, smaller than them join. And so they shifted into a new group. They're typically a Group 1 school. They did not miss a beat. They finished second in their conference with an extremely good set score. So I think that they're, just on the road to taking home another title. But you have to keep your eye on the undefeated teams. And Verona back again, more Smash, more championship effort, right? So they're my neighbors over at West Essex, so I gotta show them some love. But I think again, they've been there a couple of times and they know what it's like. And you always give those teams the edge when it's soup to nuts.
There you go. Love it. And so Group 3, going to be a lot bigger. Let's take a look at Group 3.
So Group 3 and Group 4 is where we had to add a Central division.
Hmm.
We were going to call it the Narnia division because Central Jersey doesn't exist, and so we wanted to come up with some sort of fantastic land that these 8 schools were from. But no, we went with Central. Um, Sterling again bumped up a group, right? So they're normally in Group 2 there, but bumped up into Group 3 and did not miss a beat and just won every single crew battle they played. No big deal. They're followed by Cranford, who won the North Division, and Ocean Township took home the South Division there as well. We've got a lot of strength of schedule stuff happening. Cedar Creek and High Tech divided by point 0.3 in average strength of schedule, so
Hmm.
extremely even teams. Roxbury with the 6 seed, Cumberland Regional with the 7, Seneca with the 8. Payne Tech, St. Augustine, Manchester Township, and Middletown North. There are some head-to-heads in there that are not mentioned because they don't make an impact on seeding because playoff score did its job and told us who was better. And then we have Barnegat, Absegami, West Essex, and Mainland rounding out our final 4 seeds.
Beautiful. And so for this conference, for this league, you guys will be playing remote. Your first remote round, well, your first and only remote round will be November 12th. And so you got Sterling playing Mainland. You got Seneca playing Payne Tech. Cedar Creek playing Barnegat. You got High Tech versus Middletown North. Cranford taking on West Essex. You got Cumberland playing St. Augustine's. Ocean versus Gammy. And then you got Raxbury versus Manchester Township. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, you kind of called it. Sterling didn't miss a beat. They were dominant last year in winning a state championship in the spring. Um, they return. Both players are back. You know, they've added a +1 and haven't missed a beat. So I think if Sterling can't get it done, I think Ocean does. I think Coach Over runs a great program over there. Ocean is always tough, no matter what you play them in. They always just are always right there. You thinking Cranford, huh?
I do. Cranford is one of those programs that's been at the top of GSE Smash for a while. They've got a title or two to their name. They've got the Luigi Dude racking up the stocks, and I think they're going to take it down. I think we're probably going to be looking at a Cranford Sterling if it goes on chalk.
Hmm.
So that'll be an insane match to watch. Like these stages are going to be explosive, and my heart goes out to anyone trying to hear comms on the other side of the arena when these matches are happening. But I'm also looking at Roxbury. Roxbury was in the Group 3 North Conference that West Essex was in. They just got the job done when they needed to, and as the season rolled on in those final weeks and those makeup matches came in, Roxbury went from like a 13 seed to a 7 to a 5, and
Yeah.
they just kept going. They get the job done, right? So um, I look to see possibly them doing that again and making some upsets happen. And then St. Augustine has been there before as well. You and I always are looking for the teams that have been there before that might be a lower seed than they're used to, but they've got the nerve to go out there and steal something.
Yeah, I mean, and I think when I think of a program that has grown, like you're talking about, Cumberland continues to get better every season. Everybody at Cumberland works hard. The coaches are fantastic, and so I think if anybody's going to pull off an upset, I like Cumberland. I think that's a possibility. And now we get to the biggest of big schools in the biggest of big leagues, and that's Group 4 Smash.
Yes. The letters SOS lost all meaning. I typed them so often.
Yes.
But we have Middletown South, Cherokee, and Passaic County Tech taking our conference championships and our top 3 seeds. Then you have your Lenape and your Union divided only by 0.28 average playoff score in the strength of schedule. Egg Harbor gets the 6 seed, Southern with the 7. Again, just fractions of a point over Old Bridge when it comes down to that strength of schedule. Memorial with your 9 seed, Edison, Cherry Hill East, Long Branch, Hamilton, and Plainfield. Again, just divided by uh, that strength of schedule. Long Branch with the head-to-head over Hamilton to sort themselves out there, and
Hmm.
then we bring in Northern Burlington for yet another title, and Eastern Regional makes an appearance there at the 16th seed.
Love it. And so, similar to Group 3, Group 4, you will have a remote round playing on November 12th. You got Middletown South versus Eastern. You got Old Bridge playing Memorial. You got Lenape versus Hamilton. You got Union playing Long Branch. You got Cherokee versus Northern Burlington. Southern takes on Edison. You got PCTVS versus Plainfield. And then we got Egg Harbor versus Cherry Hill. So you have to win a virtual round before you get to come compete at Georgian Court. And so for me, I think it's Middletown South's time. Middletown South, the legend of Ham Polo looms as part of that program. Always competitive, always hanging around. Um, I think Middletown South gets it done. Coach Siegel works hard over there, has those kids practicing. I think it's Middletown South's time. I think it's going to be hard. I think when you look at these teams, this is one of those conferences again, similar to what we talked about in Group 4 Rocket League. I think anybody can win. But I think it's Middletown South's time. So I'm going to be rooting for them. And if it's not them, I think it's PCTVS. I think Passaic County Tech. Um, I think they can get it done too.
Um, Replacing C Burnett, pick Burnett.
Mm,
I picked Union. Union, the super team of Burnett and Kiwami alumni.
hmm
Um, like you were saying with Rocket League, they've been there multiple times. They've come to all the events. They've played a whole bunch of Smash and they brought home a whole bunch of belts, right? So, despite them languishing at the 5 seed, I think that they are poised to make a run and win the whole dang thing. If it's not them, I'm looking at Cherokee, which I see was, um, that was a hard conference for them to get through. That's where that strong strength of schedule was coming in, um, and so they're a little battle hard in there. But my dark horse is Memorial, right? Anytime you have a 5-2 team that got shoved all the way into the 9 seed, right?
mm.
Um, you know, but it's a deep bracket, and you see those runs happen all the time in other sports and other titles. So, um, why not us? Asks Memorial.
Absolutely. Same thing for Edison. Big program, works hard. They've been with us for a long time. And they can play some smash over at Edison too. So I'm going to keep an eye on them because they might be able to pull off the upset. And that rounds out Smash. Now, I will say, because I know we have a lot of Smash viewers hanging out with us, you probably want to stay tuned to the end because we have a huge announcement that is going to involve Smash. So definitely don't leave us because you're going to miss out on what may be the biggest announcement of the year, and
Mhm.
something nobody's expecting. So we're gonna be blowing some minds in a little while. So don't leave us, Smash folks. But after Smash, we know it is time for Marvel Rivals. First time we ran Rivals as a championship after running it in the spring, and what a great season! Rivals was a lot of fun. I don't totally understand it. Looks like a lot of people just running into each other with fireworks going off, but it's cool to see how excited the kids are and how much better they are than I am at figuring out what is going on in Rivals. But when we take a look at Rivals, talk to us about Group One.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to talk to you about Group One. Group One, we have they have their own bracket there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking the top four out of that Group One conference. Mercer Tech went undefeated, and they get that top seed. Waldwick is your number two. Renaissance Middle School, playing with the big boys, playing with the big kids. They get the head-to-head over South Amboy, then take the 3 seed, and South Amboy gets the 4. These programs will play a remote round on Thursday, November 13th, and we will see the winners of that remote round for their final at Georgian Court.
Love it. And so for me, I'm liking Waldwick. I saw you took Mercer Tech. I know I got to inch back a couple wins over you to try to catch up on the leaderboard of who's the best picker. I'm going to go Waldwick because I think Mercer Tech is good, but I think Waldwick might be able to pull it off. And if it's not Waldwick, I think people are sleeping on McNair. McNair, you know, has won championships and other titles. I know that they had some tech issues over there this season. So I have a feeling they have not been operating to their fullest potential. But if they make it to in person where there's no tech issues, they could get the job done. But I see you picked our only middle school to
Yes, I did.
break in. I like that pick.
Yeah, I like Mercer Tech a lot. Mercer Tech and team-based shooters name a more iconic duo. They're good at Valorant, they're good at Overwatch, and apparently now they're good at Rivals, which is horrifying for every school with fewer than 500 students.
Yes.
Um, but it's awesome to see a middle school jump into a game that's rated a little higher, so not a lot of middle schools offer it. They get thrown into the meat grinder of playing against high schoolers, and they stood their own, right? So um, that Renaissance Waldwick matchup, who knows what's going to happen, right? It's still a best of three in the playoffs. Best of three is extremely volatile. You lose the first map, and you're already staring elimination in the face. So, um, I'm keeping my eye on Renaissance. I hope to see them on the stage. I think that would be a great story to see
That would be. That'd
a
be
middle
cool.
school program play a shooter title, and stand up against high schools.
Absolutely. I would not be mad. And so we take a look at group two.
Group two, Cape May Tech wins their conference in dominating fashion, 7-0, 14-0. McNair coming in as the conference champ for the North. West Deptford, second place in the South. That's your 3 seed. Oak Crest is your 4. Hawthorne is your 5. Cranford moves up with the head-to-head over Hoboken. Hoboken takes the 7. And Woodbury is the number 8 seed in Group 2.
Beautiful. And so we put it on the big board. Number one, don't forget you're playing remote 11-13. But we got Cape May Tech playing Woodbury. We got Oak Crest versus Hawthorne. We got McNair versus Hoboken. And we got West Deptford versus Cranford up on the big board. So those are your matchups. You got a remote round first, November 13th. And again, I think I like McNair. I think McNair's poised to win something. I'd be surprised if they didn't win something. So very similar to your Cape May Tech picks. I feel like if I pick McNair enough, that I'm gonna get it right. And if it's not McNair, I like my friends Oakcrest to the south. Had a great season. We're in the mix for a lot of their matches, dropping one map to two, and not just getting swept. But tell me, Cape May Tech,
Yeah,
fourth
I
time's the
mean,
charm.
for right. So, Cape May Tech rivals. West Essex has actually scrimmed them a couple of times. Very strong team, which is not surprising based on their strength in Overwatch. Very similar games. And it's hard to ignore teams that just don't lose a single map, right? So they're 2-0ing everybody over the course of an entire season. New characters coming out, the meta shifts, and yet they remain unblemished. But I guess I like the South Division because I've got West Deptford as my to watch coming out of that 3 spot. It's nice to see them seated highly. Coach Seeley down there, just putting together a consistently, you know, well run program. And my dark horse is Hoboken. Um, they were taking maps left and right off people. And so again, best of 3 is volatile. You're playing around remote, so it is still safe. And you know, we'll see what happens then when you get to the semis.
There you go. And I'm taking Hawthorne. Another good team, another possibility. Uh, you know, every why not? Why not Hawthorne? And so let's take a look at Group 3 for Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, so Group 3 Marvel Rivals is chaos. As we get into this one, this is a conference where literally any team from 1 through 8 can win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
This was I like challenges. This was a challenging group to seed. So
Mm-hmm.
Shawnee won their conference 7-0, easy peasy. They're the number 1 seed. Colonia won the North, but it was close because they dropped a game to the number 7 seed down there, Garfield. Ocean is your 3 seed, Highland is your 4, and this is where we had our double jump that I teased earlier.
Yes.
So Garfield was the number 5 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Morris Hills was the number 6 seed, and High Tech was the number 7 seed. Morris Hills beat Garfield, so they jumped them. knocking Garfield down. Then High Tech also beat Garfield, knocking them down. And they also beat Morris Hills. So, by virtue of getting the right head to head wins, High Tech takes your number 5 seed, Morris Hills is your 6, Garfield is your 7, which I remind you is a team that actually took a game off the number 2 seed, conference champs out of the North. And then you have West Essex at the 8, which, with my personal knowledge, beat High Tech and played Morris Hills, Garfield, and Colonia extremely closely with some 2-1 losses in there. So, Group 3 is an extremely volatile bracket. So when we look at those matchups, as we pull the bracket up, it is a place where you can see pathways for some of these teams that might be quote unquote underseeded by virtue of those head to heads, pulling off some pretty remarkable upsets. And then, your final 4 is like no one seeded higher than 5. But yeah, so take us through the matchups.
Yeah, it's going to be Shawnee versus West Essex, Highland versus High Tech, Colonia versus Garfield, which should be a great match. And then you got Ocean versus Morris Hills.
That first round is remote.
Mhm.
Semifinals and finals are at Georgian Court. My pick to win is Shawnee, just because, again, you can't ignore someone that did go through the gauntlet completely unscathed, right? I'm keeping an eye on Ocean as well, the runners-up in that South Conference. I
Coach
think,
Hover loves some rivals.
yeah, I think, knowing what I know about that program and what Coach Hover says about rivals all the time, that's a program that is taking their business extremely seriously.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I think if it's not Shawnee, I think it's Colonia. I'm going to go with the 2 seed. But I think Highland could make something happen. But the dark horse for me, if I had to find a spot where I'm going to get my bonus points over you with these picks, Garfield knocking all the way down from 5 to 7 in such a competitive conference. Listen, if you're,
I think
where's Garfield playing?
you went the wrong way.
I went the wrong way, guys.
Yeah,
There
so
we go.
Garfield's the 7. So
Right, so they're playing Colonia.
going into the final day of the season, Garfield was the number 2 seed
Right,
because they had the head-to-head over Colonia.
right,
And then they lost to High Tech on the very last day of the season and,
right,
bounced all the way down. So you're absolutely right. Like Plinko style,
right.
if you had to pick a dark horse,
Well,
they're a
'cause
good one.
I'm right in thinking Garfield's first match against the 2 seed, they've already beat the 2 seed.
They've already beaten the 2 seed. That's what I'm saying. Like this, literally anyone from 1 to 8 can win this whole thing because, you look at the Shawnee. My dark horse is West Essex. Completely unbiased opinion. But you look at if West Essex can pull the upset in round 1, they're facing a matchup possibly against High Tech, who they've already beaten.
Right.
And Garfield's playing Colonia round 1, who they've already beaten. Right. So it's, you look at these matchups and these teams are all extremely close together. You have to have a winner because no one can tie in rivals, but you're looking at teams that are, we would have a lot of ties.
Absolutely.
And so it's going to be exciting to see this bracket unfold because this is one where I think it is there is a non-zero chance you have a 7-8 matchup in the final.
100%. I think if there's anywhere where our bracket is going to get busted, I think this is the conference. This is it. Yeah, 100%. But let's take a look then at Group 4.
Group 4, Freehold off the top rope takes that number 1 seed 7-0. Bayonne 7-0. Plainfield, Old Bridge, Edison with the head-to-head over Trenton. Trenton with the head-to-head over Eastern. And then East Side is your 8. There are a lot of strong team-based shooter schools in this conference, right? Freehold has won an Overwatch championship. Bayonne has won a Valorant championship. Plainfield has won a Valorant championship, or at least competed for one. Old Bridge, again, always in the mix. So this is a very strong conference as well.
Yeah, I mean, so playing remote on November 13th is going to be Freehold versus Eastside. Then you got Old Bridge Edison, you got Bayonne Eastern, and then you got Plainfield versus Trenton Central. And I think you got the same intel I did. I think you got to see the same matches that I did. Freehold is nasty. Freehold was unbelievable to watch. And knowing and having to seen some of their matches, um, I don't know if anybody could beat Freehold. I just feel like they're on a different level. Coming off of uh, their Overwatch state championship, knowing that and I can say this because I I talked to his parents. The worst player on their Marvel Rivals team is a top 500 Overwatch player. Okay, so you know,
No big deal.
no big deal. Freehold, I just feel like
Man,
is
man, it's
stacked.
really nice to have 1,000 people in each grade in your school.
You can find some talent when you got 1,000 people a grade, but if it's not Freehold, I think Plainfield could get it done. Coach Trumbauer over there always has his kids ready. They've been there before. But I mean, so is Freehold. I don't know if anyone can beat Freehold.
No, I don't think so. I'm willing to be wrong, and I'm willing to have Old Bridge or Trenton Central come up and rub it in my face. I will be there. I'll be wearing a Garden State Esports black polo shirt. You'll be able to find me. But I got to take Freehold here. Just seeing them play Overwatch and then hearing what I've heard about their rivals roster, it's extremely strong. As always, I'm keeping an eye on Old Bridge. Coach Weiss runs a tight ship.
Mm-hmm.
I know that team's going to be prepared going into the prelim round, the remote round, and then walking into the room with gobs of experience playing in-person esports. Um, and then Trenton Central, they were down in the scrum of head-to-heads of people jostling for positions. So anytime you see those, somebody might shake out in a different way. The head-to-heads don't break the same way, and so they're my dark horse coming out of the bottom of the bracket there.
Yeah, and I'm taking Eastern. Eastern has been sniffing around a lot of titles, and their time has to come eventually. Eastern's a great program, and if they can make some noise and pick up a little momentum in the first virtual round, I feel like Rivals is one of those games that snowballs really quickly,
Yes.
both in the actual game, but also between matches, between who has coming in confident.
Yeah, the crazy part is, it's still a best of three in playoffs, right?
Hmm.
So it's not bumping to a best of five. We're playing a best of three, and you win or lose that first map, that can change the whole tenor of the matchup. So I don't care if you're undefeated and you lose that first domination map, and all of a sudden your back's against the wall. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, true, true, true. And that wraps up our playoff reveal, but we have our all-star reveal coming up, and then
Yeah,
we have our major announcement,
massive, huge.
our massive announcement reveal coming up. But let's recognize our middle school Rocket League All-Stars.
Yeah, so for those of you unfamiliar, the way we do All Stars for GSE is at the end of every match, when the coach reports the score, they must report a player of the game from their team and a player of the game from the other team. We total those up, so we want to know which players are making a visible impact, enough so that the opposing coach notices them and writes them down. And so that's how we build our All Star teams, and all of these All Stars will be recognized on stage with a certificate and pin at Georgian Court. So we hope to see you there. But for middle school Rocket League, we have Keeson from Smith, we have Landon from Salk, Annabella from the Scranton School, Ryan from Brigantine, Landon from Stafford, and Ethan from Kawami. Congrats.
Wonderful. And for middle school Smash, we got Randy from Smith, Benny from Camden's Promise, Yensi from the Boys and Girls Club of Camden. We got Sydney from Burnett. We got Jack from Knollwood, Owen from Jonas Salk. We got Mike G from Orange Ave, and we got Hazel from Matawan. So, congratulations to our middle school All Stars. Mike, tell us about our Valk All Stars.
Yeah, so our Valkyrie All Stars, we have Janalis from New Roberto Clemente. We have Delilah from Bayonne, Brielle from High Tech, Millie from Fernwood, Ivy from Cape May Tech, Giovanna from Shawnee, WFC from Patterson School number 10, and Janelle from the Boys and Girls Club of Camden.
Love it. And our league all stars, we got Tiggy from PCTVS. We got Ethan from Edison, Alberto from Cherry Hill East. We got Gia from Colonia, Paul from Technology, Aiden from Barnegat, Anson from Colonia, Caden from Edison. We got Nin from Cherry Hill. We got Mike from Technology, Dan from Northern Valley Old Tapan, and then we got Matt from Barnegat. So those are your League of Legends first and second team All Stars.
Yeah, high school Rocket League All Stars. We have Christian from Manchester Township. We have Matt from Lenape, Alex from Newark Science Park, Johnny from Union, Paulie from Morris Hills, and Rooney from Plainfield.
And making Smash All Stars, we got Davis from Mainland, we got David from Lenape, Afori from Community School, Mateo from High Tech, we got Gregory from Plainfield, Zach from Cranford, Richie from Sterling, and we got Gavin from Hapatcom. And then rounding out our All Stars will be our rivals team. Again, Mike.
Absolutely. Give me the longest list of all. We've
Yes.
got Carter from Eastern, Allen from Freehold, I. Lee from South Amboy, Brendan from Waldwick, Joshua from Edison, Gregor from Shawnee, Chris from West Essex, Cannon Pork. That is a fantastic username out of Egg Harbor. Unless it says Cannon Pork on their birth certificate. I don't know.
The cut.
M. Garcia from New Brunswick, Dominic from JFK, William from Seneca, Fair from Mainland, Noriel from Garfield, and Amelia from one of the best high schools of all time, Wallkill Valley Regional High School.
I want a Cannon Pork jersey. Is what I want. So as we start to wrap up before our big announcement, let's review.
Yes. So you are here on Friday, November 7th in Teachers Convention. Our League of Legends semifinal is played this coming Tuesday. The winner of that goes to Georgian Court. High School Smash, if you are in Group 3 or 4, the round of 16, the first round of that bracket, will be played on November 12th remotely. On Thursday, the 13th, Group 1 Marvel Rivals will play their semifinal, and Groups 2, 3, and 4 will play the first round, the round of 8 of their bracket. And the winners of all of those matches will go to Georgian Court to finish out the brackets. Rosters will lock on Sunday
That's
at
a big
5
one.
p.m. That's a huge one. You must have your in-game names exact and scoutable. We will not allow edits or substitutions for usernames that are incorrect, or oops, I forgot, or oops, I got chat banned, or anything. So rosters lock and will not unlock at all until the championships. The only exception there is for Smash. We let you change your characters. After that first round of playoffs for Smash gets finished up, we will lock those rosters, and they will lock after Wednesday, so that we will print them out so that they can be verified in person for the in-person portion of the brackets. If your team, this is to club advisors that are in the chat, if your team qualifies for Georgian Court, we have a mandatory championship coaches meeting on Monday, November 17th at 8 p.m. You must attend in order to get the expectations, the schedule of when matches are going to be played, and get the rundown of how the event works. Even if you have been to every single one we have ever done, you must attend the meeting. And then we will see everybody at Georgian Court on the 22nd.
And there it is, the aerial view of beautiful Georgian Court University. We will be back in the casino. It is November 22nd. I have also pinned in the chat for parents, supporters, other stakeholders. They will need a ticket. Tickets are $5 in advance. They go to $10 the day of and at the door. So if you are going to Georgian Court, your parents want to come, brother, sister, friends, they're going to need a ticket. If you are a competitor or you are a member of your school's esports team, you will get in for free. And we will have your coaches submit their rosters and all that good stuff. Whether they're coming to compete or they're just coming to spend the day, you will get in for free. Otherwise, though, folks will need a ticket. They are $5 now, but they will go up to $10 the day of. So please
And make sure you get a ticket, because for those of you that remember the casino, it's the smaller of the two venues, and the fire marshal gets very itchy when we show up.
Yes.
So they will stop us from selling tickets.
Correct.
When we hit that magic number. So make sure you get your ticket in advance. We're going to show you the arena layout which is much improved over last fall's trip to the casino. Now with more ropes. And so you'll see that we'll have a roped off area for preliminary matches to be played, and then we're building 3 stages as usual. But we'll go over all this again for any coaches of programs that qualify, just to give you the whole rundown and lay of the land, so that you know where to go, what to do when you walk in and get hit with that just wall of noise that takes place at one of these things.
Yeah, and for those of you that are coming, even if you don't make the event as a competitor, we still encourage you to come and have a great time. Our comic book store is going to be back. We're going to have walk-up tournaments again. We're going to have a bunch of colleges there, looking for players, looking for people to join their program. So as always, whether you are competing or you just want to come and have a great time, the food trucks are back. All kinds of food trucks are coming again. But yeah, like Mike said, please encourage your community, your parents, whomever, to get their tickets. I can already tell you that based on what happened last year, we have a mandatory overflow building where we will have to send people. So if you do not get a ticket, um, there's no guarantee you're actually allowed into the event. So we have an overflow building where you can watch the matches on the big screen. But we broke 2,000 people last fall championship. So yeah, I had a meeting with the fire marshal. So uh, things I thought I would never have to do, but these are things that I have to do. Um, but yeah, we talked about the fall coaches meeting. We're gonna get you that link. Everybody must attend, and we'll go over all kinds of fun stuff. But it's time for our major announcement, Mike.
Oh yes, one more stealing a page out of Stevie Jobs' book here.
Mm.
We have been working on this for, oh gosh, 2 years, 3 years. It's been a dream. It's been an idea, a glimmer in our eye. There's been a lot of legwork from a lot of different people across the state. And tonight we want to announce for the first time, uh, Garden State Esports will be hosting a first of its kind Scholastic Esports College Combine. So in February of 2026, February 7th to be specific, at Brookdale Community College, Garden State Esports will be inviting the top players statewide in Rocket League, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Overwatch 2, and Valorant to come play in front of college scouts and esports directors from across the state and even across the country. We have at this point almost 20 schools from inside and outside this
Well,
country.
I will tell you
Is it going up?
as of this morning, we are now pushing 30.
Yeah, so schools coming from Ohio, from North Carolina, from all over the place, in addition to the schools that are in our collegiate conference that you may be aware of from being in state. This is a program that is open to juniors and seniors. It is invitation only. You're going to see top college programs from across the state and country. Some of them are even bringing their admissions counselors, and they will be performing instant decision right then and there. So if you go through the process there, you show up to Brookdale, you play some esports, you go talk to a college, they may be able to tell you right then and there, yes, you are in, and here's how much money you are getting. They're showing up with over $100,000 in scholarships between all of them. Some of them are bringing half rides, which is just mind-boggling. After this show is over, we will be sending out to all coaches the nomination form. Nominations are due by November 26th. So, coaches, you can nominate your star players, juniors and seniors only, in these 4 titles. There will be a selection committee that will review all of these nominations and go through all of the criteria and everything like that to select our top players. And we will announce those selections and continue through the process beginning on December 15th. So for Rocket League, we'll be selecting 18 players, 12 players, and 6 alternates. Super Smash Brothers, 18 players, 12 and 6. Overwatch 2, we will be selecting 20 players, and Valorant, we will be selecting 20 players. This is an event for, Garden State Esports and our member schools and our players of those school teams to show that they are the best that the country has to offer in esports. We already know that. We've had top 500, top 40, top 25 players in all of these games. We've had nationally ranked players, but no opportunity to get them in front of college scouts. Um, College combines are something that basically don't exist in collegiate esports. And so, over the course of a few years and months, we've put together a pretty compelling program that is apparently enticing enough that college directors are willing to fly out from the Midwest and further in order to come and see the players that GSE has to offer. So again, coaches, keep an eye out. Players, bug your coaches. Hey, did you get that email? If you think that you have what it takes to qualify to play at this combine, because we fully expect that there will be some signings at the combine where kids are going to commit to go to schools, and directors are going to be tapping people on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, why don't you come to our program?" So huge stuff coming out of GSE in order to get our players the college opportunities that they deserve and that they've earned, that we see day in and day out, season in, season out, with all the competition we see. Now we are finally able to get them in front of some recruiters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say shout out to Coach DeMarco, who is not just in charge of Woodbury, but is also in charge of our collegiate program, as well as Coach McCowan from Hapakong. They have been doing a ton of work in helping get this combine off the ground. But yeah, we're closing in on 30 schools from all over the country coming, offering over $100,000 in scholarships. Syracuse is coming, so it's not just half rides, Mike. Syracuse comes with full rides, right? Ask Barnegat. They signed a kid to Syracuse last year who's over there, Aquateers, playing a full ride Rocket League with Syracuse. Syracuse always comes, and Syracuse always takes our best kids. So, definitely this is going to be something special. I can't believe how popular it is getting. I get emails almost every day now about colleges wondering, hey, can we come? And, we want to be a part of it. So we opened our doors to a lot of different colleges from around the country for the first time to come see what we already know is that Jersey's got the best kids, right? Best league, best kids. And we're hoping to get more of our kids' scholarships. But I will say this, and now this is directed to our players, our students. The timelines, deadlines, and instructions for participation are super serious. The reason we have alternates is if you do not get your paperwork in, you're going to be replaced by an alternate. And so I will make sure that folks know there is going to be a $50 fee for players to attend, and that is to hold your spot, but you will get more than that back in the lunches that we're going to purchase for you, as well as something called a player card, which is going to be both a digital and physical document that you can carry with you, that's going to have your GPA, that's going to have all of your college information, your desired majors and everything, right, that we're going to share with colleges in advance and at the day of the event so they know who's coming. So there is a $50 fee to participate. But as always, if you cannot afford it or there is a hardship, talk to your coach and have them talk to me, and we will figure it out, because we want to make sure that anybody who gets nominated and selected to participate can participate. But yeah, you know, uh, we're super serious, and I not sure how else to relay this information other than through bold and underlined text inside of an email. But if you are late to the combine, if you are late getting your paperwork in, if you miss these windows, you will be replaced, because we are making sure that we are taking the top kids and that these kids have the opportunity to play. And so there'll be a window for starters to apply. And then anyone who misses the deadline, if they're deemed a starter, will get replaced. So, with all of the seriousness, or I should say, all of the opportunity that comes with a combine, all of the seriousness comes with a combine. So when you're given scholarships and, somebody might have the opportunity to go to college for free, it's not something where we can kind of not do, we got to be serious about it. So we've been working hard for, better part of a year planning this. And yeah, we're super excited about it. I can't believe how well it's going. So let's make sure coaches' nomination forms are going to be emailed out tonight. And listen, if you nominate a kid outside of the nomination window, he will not get in. She will not get in. So please make sure coaches, players, you're taking it seriously. It's going to be a long email, I promise. Make sure you read everything, because I want everybody to understand what's going on, and I want to make sure the best kids have every opportunity to be put in front of our 30 plus colleges that are coming. So outside of that, Mike, as always, thank you and the competition committee for all of your hard work. It is not easy seeding all of this. It is not easy planning the schedule for the championships. You know, I see you working day in and day out. So thank you, Mike, so much for the hard work you and the competition committee do. Thank you to Coach DeMarco, Coach McCown. Thank you to Vice President Regina Schaefer and the Wizard of Waz and Trebauer and Coach Baumer and everybody else who helps make Garden State Esports possible behind the scenes. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or hit us up on Discord. We will go post the slideshow from the live seating results right now, and then I'm going to go hit send on my email to coaches for the nomination form. So other than that, everybody have a great first round.
I got one last point.
Oh yeah,
Because we didn't mention it.
what do we?
Our Stay Frosty rule.
Oh, good point.
If your school was not on these brackets and you just missed out, we like to say stay frosty. In-person competition is mandatory. So inevitably, we hear from one or two schools that say, "Hey, my administration won't pay for a bus. You know, such and such has come up. There's a conflict. My players can't get there." In-person competition is mandatory. So if a school cannot participate for whatever reason, we bring in the next available school that would have had that seed. So stay frosty for a week or two. Playoffs are right around. The championships are right around the corner. So, you know, this is not to create false hope. This is just to say stay frosty, because you may get a DM from Chris in a couple of days saying, "Hey, you were number 9 and you're in now." So just keep an eye out, because we fill the seats, we fill the brackets with in-person competition, and that is something that does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and if you are one of those teams who somehow aren't going to come, please contact me as soon as humanly possible, because we do not want another school to miss out participating. So, hopefully that's not the case. It shouldn't be the case, but you never know. But otherwise, thank you everybody for an amazing fall season. Don't forget that winter registration is open now. Winter is shaping up to be our biggest winter ever. And there's a lot more exciting things to come, like the combine. So thank you again, Mike. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
way too long. I wanna tell you, so I sing this song. I can't hide it 'cause it feels so strong. Baby, there's a time when the feeling is right, and I know you will tell me. You tell me how you love me and you treat me right. Yeah, you'll treat me right, and then I'll give it all to you. I give it all to you. When you want it, I'll fill you up with it. I'll give it all to you and give my love to you. I wanna know when you feel it straight away. Oh, the way you touch me, I can't forget. Baby, you make me lay in bed in a cold, cold sweat. I'm hoping that you call me so I can hear your voice. And I want you to tell me that I drive you crazy and giving you no choice. I know what you wanna say. I know I can make the mood. I know what you wanna do. Yeah, I wanna be with you. I don't wanna wait for one day, 'cause I'm loving all your moves, babe. I know what you wanna do. I will let you set the groove, set the groove, oh. Ha! Been a while since I found a man with good intentions. No slacker, home